Hi guys, well in this video I'm going to explain to you why it is that the poor take more risks than the wealthy do. Now as an example, let's look at the National Lottery. I know I've used it before in a number of examples to things you shouldn't do with your money, but it's a great example for the risks that poor people are having to take because of their situation. See, the odds of us, as I've said before, winning the lottery are 14 million to 1, and yet people still put the lottery on, and the statistics show that it's the working classes and the poor amongst us who use the lottery, who play the lottery more than the wealthy do, and there's good reason for that. It's like the scratch cards as well. I buy a newspaper every morning for my mother, and there's a guy regularly in front of me in the queue who will buy a handful of scratch cards. Now, I don't know how much he spends, but let's say he spends £10 a week. Well, that's 520 quid. Now, the same bloke probably hasn't got £520 set aside for some sort of emergency. And if I was trying to tell him and explain to him, mate, rather than use those scratch cards as a means to getting wealthy, what you should be doing is putting that £10 a week aside so you have £520 set aside in case of an emergency. And I know what he'll say. He'll say, you're kidding me, right? I've got to save all year in order to make £520. And I would answer, yes, mate, you do. And it's called the suck. And the less money you have, the poorer you are, the more suck you have to push through in order to become wealthy. Now, I know why the poor play the lottery and gamble and take higher risks than wealthier people, and that's because they see their situation as pretty much hopeless and they have to rely on the roll of a dice in order to improve their well-being. They perhaps don't see that there's a greater life ahead of them. They see themselves in a situation where they don't earn very much money. The chances of them earning more money, maybe because they're not so bright, maybe because of the lack of opportunity, the situation they live in, where they live, the kind of parents and friends they have, and they see that the only chance of becoming wealthy is to roll the dice on that lottery ticket. Now, conversely, the wealthy are very risk averse. They don't worry about becoming wealthy. They've already gone through the suck. They've secured their wealth, and what they want to do now is keep that money. So they look at ways of reducing the risk. So if they invest in the stock exchange, they have a very diverse portfolio to protect them from any falls in the marketplace. If they want to avoid taxes, and they pay an accountant with who is very skilled in order to legally avoid from paying taxes. And the other thing they do is they have everything, all their worth in limited companies, which prevents people from suing them and taking all that money from them. Now, I'm in a similar situation. Okay, I'm not poor. Although 3 years ago I was living on minimum wage, had no savings, and I had £10,000 of credit card debt. That's all changed now because I'm doing different things. I'm taking different actions to what I was doing then. But because of my situation, that is to say, I've given myself 10 years to make £1 million. I've only given myself 10 years, which means I have to take higher risks. So I'm all in on one investment. I have to go for the investment that gives me the biggest bang for my buck, which is in property. But it comes at a risk. I'm having to take greater risk because of my situation. Now, what that means is, if there's a down change in the marketplace in terms of value of the property, then I'm exposed and I could lose a lot of wealth that way on. Or the government might change the tax rules. If we got an unfriendly government in, unfriendly to landlords that is, and they change the tax regime, I might end up making a lot less money than I am right now, or at least I project to. Now, I'm only at 3 properties right now. It's my intention over the next 6.5 years to get to 20 properties. And that again exposes me to more risk because I'm all in properties. Well, save the 5,000 or so I've got in Vanguard Stocks and Shares ISA. I'm all in property. And so I'm a little concerned. And I've been thinking about this quite a lot recently. And what I'm going to do is try and reduce that risk, rather like the wealthy people would do. And when I get to 10 properties, I'm then going to start putting more money into ISAs and spreading that risk across a broader platform. Why 10 properties? Well, at 10 properties, my income from the 10 properties will be about £4,000 a month, which at that time is twice the money I'm making as a taxi driver, which is about £2,000 a month. And as I said in a previous video, I'll be then in a situation where I can live a £4,000 a month lifestyle whilst only earning £2,000 a month as a cabbie, because I'm living off the hard work of other people. I've gotten through the suck, I've invested my money, and now my money is showing returns in terms of rent. So then I'll be able to live twice the lifestyle as the money I'm earning. So will that work? Will circumstances change? I mean, I'm planning to get to 10 properties in the next 3.5 years. I don't know. We live in an uncertain world, but one thing's for sure, I'll keep you informed every step of the way, guys. Don't be stupid and don't be normal.